Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, which is just about geospatial references and environmental engineering and how that relates to climate and climate justice. So today I'm going to show you and discuss how to create and set up a 1D HEC-RAS model, just the basics, into the terrain, and explaining all about how we can get started together. So first I'm going to share my screen, and the first thing I'm going to do is Google the national map by USGS. So search the USGS national map download, and it should be like pretty much the first thing that comes up. And so once you have this, I would like you to type in the area that you're interested in. So I'm really interested in Holyoke and the Connecticut River. And so I'm going to zoom out to about this extent. And from here, what I would like to do is download some of the elevation source data. If they don't have that, I would also be interested in the elevation products. So click the things that you would like. So I wanted the elevation source data, and I also wanted to see if there was elevation products. And if they have that data, it will show it to you. So I just clicked search products. Now what came up, it's a little hard to understand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on show all thumbnails, and then this will show us what our map will look like kind of in like real time. And once I click on show more, it's a little bit dark and kind of hard to see. So if this happens, I would kind of click on the thumbnail, see if it's like appropriate to you. And if it is, zoom to it and see if it is appropriate. So this is not really appropriate to us. So I'm actually going to go back to the data sets, and then I'm going to uncheck the elevation source data. And I'm only going to click on the GeoTIFF format of the 1/3 arcsecond DEM, or maybe I'll do 1 meter DEM. That would actually make more sense. And then I'll search the products again, and I'll see if they come up for where I'm interested in. Okay, so again, I'm interested in Holyoke. Okay, so this is for Connecticut. I'm going to search the products again for the area I want. It might take a couple iterations to see exactly what you want. So I think this is like a bit unusual on how the color and the extent is, but let me grab the one that highlights the area I want. So as you can see, it's filling out the area based off of the thumbnail. So it's this kind of grayish area. And so what I'll do is I'll download the link, and the link is just called the TIF. And so I have created this folder in my documents called HEC data. And so I'll go in HEC-RAS, and I'm going to download this into my example projects. But one thing that I think would actually be the most helpful is to create a complete folder with this exact file setup. And so I have the GIS files, hydrology files, land use, a projection folder, results, shape files, and terrain. And so if I go to terrain, we can see the type of terrain that I've downloaded here. And so this is the terrain that I've downloaded here. The one that I had previously is the USGS 1/3 arcsecond DEM. And so I think I might use that instead. And so I'm going to click on the 1/3 arcsecond. And then we'll see what comes up. Yeah, this one will probably look better. Okay. So I'm downloading the link again. I've put it into my file folder. Yep, this is the exact same data that I had. So I'll put it in my terrain file. And yeah, it'll just come out as this little paintbrush image, but that's just a placeholder for now. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to search for Massachusetts projection data. So the website that I like to use is called spatialreference.org. And what I have here is the Massachusetts inland data. And so, yeah, that's the Massachusetts mainland data, the NAD 83. And so I have it downloaded right here as a .prj file. Don't get this confused with your HEC-RAS.prj file as well. And so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to save this into my projection folder. So I have HEC-RAS Holyoke. This is my projection folder, and I have it right here. Okay, so now we can get started on the actual HEC-RAS work. So the first thing I'm going to do is search it up in my file drive and then get it started. And I'm going to call this new project my HEC test And then make sure you save it into your specific folder. So I have HEC-RAS Holyoke, and I have all my other test files right here. I'll just call this HEC test, or I can just call it like HEC test 2. So now here we have our HEC test 2. You can open the geometry in a bunch of different ways, but we're going to do that in our second or third video. The first thing that we're going to do in this one is click on the unit system, and we're going to create it in the metric system or in the SI system. You can set the default for new projects, so I'll do that. And the next thing we're going to do is open RAS Mapper, which is this map shape. Okay, so we've opened RAS Mapper. It's opened on my second screen. And so once we have RAS Mapper open, the first thing that we're going to want to do is upload our terrain. So you'll click on create a new RAS terrain, and you'll click this plus symbol. Once that's open, upload the data that you had. And so I'll call this terrain test terrain 2 or something. Oh, I already have test terrain 2. Okay, so I have it as test terrain 2. And now what I'll do is you'll click on create. So it already exists, so I won't run it again. But once you do that, you can create or upload the same terrain by add existing RAS terrain. And so that's what I'm going to do right here. So I had this already existing terrain. I know it's the Holyoke River because we saw and did it together. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some web imagery so that we can get oriented into where we are in the space. So this is Google Satellite. And I'm going to upload the Google Satellite. And you see how it kind of just dominates the rest of the image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the layer properties, and I'm going to put it at about 50% opaqueness. So with that, we can kind of see a little bit more. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom into my specific extent that I was really interested in. I was interested in this reach that goes from about North Amherst down to Holyoke, which is about from right here to right here. And how I know that is I looked at the Google Earth imagery and I figured out one just super defining feature of the landscape. And one was this airport right here. So I know that with that, I'm pretty oriented. And so here we have it. Once we're done with this, we just save it and we'll be able to come back to it anytime we want. So I hope that was a good intro. Next time we work together, we're going to work on creating the specific extent to this and figuring out how to troubleshoot with 1D flood hazard mapping. So thanks again for coming to the first video. I hope you enjoy the rest of the series.